Well, hello everybody. Uh, Welcome to a live vlog. Okay, kind of wanted to adjust the sound down a little bit. Welcome to a live vlog talking about fathers. Um, Essentially, what I wanted to do with this vlog is kind of do this live in case anybody wanted to throw their 2 cents in on it. But it's also a bit of a remembrance to my own father, who I buried 2 weeks ago, and I'll be honest, I can't promise I won't get emotional, because when your father leaves the planet, returns to the planet, um, and rejoins nature, or goes to heaven, or wherever you see, your ancestors going, it it's bittersweet, because you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to deal with it. At least, a lot of people are prepared for death till it finally happens. And I'll be honest, I've been mourning and grieving the last couple of weeks, and it's not easy, especially when your father passes. Now, I've my father and I didn't. We had a bit of a distant relationship, if anything, um, because we went through a lot of stuff in life, and my dad's name was Kenneth, just like mine. My name's Kenny. His was Kenneth Mitchell Sr. Uh, he passed of heart complications, kidney failure, and other things. But he was also a man of faith. He was a man of conviction for the most part. He was human. He had his problems. He also struggled with alcohol. Um, he suffered from diabetes. He built a ministry, and for those that don't know what I mean by the term ministry, he built an outreach to people from a religious standpoint. Um, he did YouTube videos, he did interviews, he did podcasts, he did all kinds of stuff, um, from a religious perspective. And he was a man that tried everything he could to be his own man. He um, A lot of various projects throughout his life. He held down a good amount of jobs, but he did his damnedest to provide. And near the end of his life, him and I had grown more distant, although we'd grown closer. That probably doesn't make any sense, but um, there was a lot that my father and I didn't see eye to eye on. Spiritually, life, how to live one's life, and certain things to that degree. But I get a lot of who I am from him. I get a lot of my drive to when I help spread a good message and interact with people, try to reach out, you know. Um, I'm having a hard time here. I'll admit I'm mentally blocking up because I'm trying to not get really emotional, but it's easier said than done, in all honesty. Um, I my dad was a good guy. I'm lucky that I got to say I love you before he passed. Not a whole lot of people could say that. And I knew the end was coming because of his failing health. There were parts of me that wish I had had more time. But there were parts of me that were really stubborn, and my last text to him, in full full disclosure, we had talked about his kidney failure, and some stuff came up. I got upset, and he sent me a text saying that he didn't mean to upset me, and I said, I know, I need some time to process. I love you. And a few days later, he passed. He one of the hardest things I've ever had to do was head up my own father's wake as the big brother of 7. And I don't know how I found the strength on that day. I don't know how I pulled through. I gave this beautiful, what I saw as beautiful words, and at his wake, and not really from a religious perspective, just more in a secular manner. And I think he would have been proud of me just for speaking and finding the strength to help his widow through it. My stepmother. It's hard losing a parent. I've lost grandparents. I've lost uncles. I've even lost some cousins. But losing a parent it's like a weight on your heart. But in a way, it's also a release because we're not suffering anymore. Dad suffered. He didn't, he talked about it. But he also kept going. He was a warrior. He was at times a very selfish warrior. And for that I'm proud of him. I get that from him, actually. To soldier on. I've faced darkness in my life, and there's stuff I get from him that I'm proud of. Some things I get from him that I'm not. It's my ego sometimes. But I also get a caring nature. As much as my ego can get in the way of that sometimes. And it's just hard to think that, my dad's not here anymore. I can't text him. I can't reach out to him. It happened the other day that I came across a mic for his podcast. that I thought would have been really, really good for it. He always called me asking for, technical advice for sound, video production, and I found a mic on Amazon. I was going to shoot it to him. Say, hey, I think this would be really good for your podcast. His phone number's still active, and but he's not on the other end. Grief is one of the most raw things we can go through as humans. It's one of the rawest emotions. And it is heavy. It's heavy, man. But it wasn't on the end of the text. Oh, okay. Oh, wow, you guys are lighting up chat. I didn't even notice. Actually, give me a minute if you don't mind. I'll read it here in a bit. I'm just reflecting a bit and, recording a live vlog. So the reason I did it so you guys can join in and talk about any fathers who you thought was special. And I say that because for the longest time, I didn't really have a relationship with my father as much as I had wanted. And to be honest, in my childhood, I was let down by him a lot because he worked all the time. Him and my mom divorced when I was 5. He was married twice after that. The third one stuck. I got 2 siblings from each marriage. Needless to say, he was he really liked to proliferate, as it were. My dad's side of the family is pretty widespread. Wasn't a whole lot of, well, he tried from time to time to get people together for the holidays, but some members of the family are just stubborn, some are lost, some are just too far out, It's hard to do holiday things. And it's an unfortunate thing I've seen on that side is that they weren't able to make it out. But he tried really hard to keep his family together after my grandparents died during the holidays. I saw disappointment. I saw a lot of disappointment in the man when he couldn't pull that off. It broke his heart. But with that said, he was the kind of guy that he tried. He did what he could. And it's about the best thing you can do in life. That was one of the lessons he taught me, is that he's still proud of himself because he tried. He kept trying. He kept it up for years. Even in his failing health, he tried. And that's one of the most important lessons I got from him as his son. But he's always remembered. He's always up here and in here. I mean, as you guys may or may not know, I'm not a religious guy. I can be spiritual. I think that when people die, they do return to the earth. I think there is a spiritual energy there. And it's also a remembrance for our own sake. There's worldwide, there's always every culture, every religion in some way or another believes that our ancestors watch over us. And I believe that. Whether it's from, Gaia, Mother Earth, being a part of that, we're a part of them, or whether it's angels from heaven, whether it's whatever it may be, they're still always there, especially our fathers, especially our parents and our grandparents. And looking after us, Okay. I said, I'm still grieving. Just to note, if you're ever grieving, if you're ever mourning, medically, a time to mourn and a time to grieve, on average, is 6 months to 4 years. So, if you find yourself not being happy, not bouncing back, or crying 6 to 8 weeks later, it's totally normal. I looked that fact up on Google today just because I was curious, and you know, I do that from time to time, and that's what Google's for on the internet, right? So, all right, who do we got in chat? Indian, what's up, man? 6:48, and here I am with you as soon as I woke up. True that, man. True that. Levy Ray, how are you? Don't be upset. I know it's hard. I lost someone I loved some weeks ago. I wake up every day hoping it's a dream, and I end up looking at the picture of my bedside cabinet. I feel that. It's a picture of my dad I keep on my phone. Several pictures, actually. Thankfully, I was able to get my hands on some of them before he passed. The man was anything if not love to have a picture taken. Like I said, he had a bit of an ego, and he I don't know. He liked photos. He liked talking. There were times he even liked listening to himself. I know it. And but with that, people listened to him. People dug what the message he was speaking, and he gave messages on spirituality, religious standpoints, all kinds of stuff. Hardcore Christian missionary, pastor, preacher, and I'm not religious myself. Like I said, I'm spiritual, and that's kind of where him and I had a bit of a rift. And there were certain people in my life that judged me for that, but he never really did. He tried to understand it. He tried to understand how and why it happened, because I was raised Christian. He was the primary source of that. Him and my mom, obviously, but he tried to understand where he asked me a few times. He asked me, where do you believe God failed you? And I told him, I said, from time to time, I said, I can't really say that a God failed me. And I can't really say that you failed me. But what I can say is that there were times in my life to where I felt let down. And I don't know how to answer any questions about God, but I do know how to answer questions about the universe. And I know that we're a part of something greater. I know that we're a part of a planet. We're a part of a solar system. We're a part of a galaxy. All of this stuff rotating so that we can live, and we're a part of that. We are the universe exploring itself and thinking for itself, seeing what it's capable of. And if you want to refer to that as God, as a collective, I can agree. But to think that I've let down a great spirit in the sky, it doesn't do any justice to your beliefs. And he went with that. So, him and I had some great discussions, man. We really did. Philosophically, theologically, and I'm gonna miss him. I tell you, like I said, we were so distant. We were so, but so much the same in so many ways. Deep thinkers, philosophers. Ugh, it's just crazy. Okay, back to chat. Here's what I can say. Father-son relationship is sometimes love, hate, love again. And they're rigid. I mean, they can be hard, but they always love you. My dad's 75 and watching you now makes me understand many things myself. As an Indian, it's in most of our religion that they watch over you. Always, especially the ones that are vocal to the end. The eldest sons and daughters are always the closest. Agreed. Hey, Hannah. One of my little sisters is in chat right now. I can't tell you how proud I am of my siblings. Look, I know you guys weren't there. It was a bit of a personal event, but my siblings, they were so strong at my father's wake. I was so proud. I was so proud. I love you, Hannah. Hey, Speed. How you doing, dude? Dude, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sobbing like a... There's nothing worse than watching a fat man weep. Jay and Silent Bob. Hey, Zion. I'm doing all right, man. Just reflecting, grieving, talking fathers with y'all. We buried mine a couple weeks ago, and I kind of wanted to do a video remembrance of him, talking about him, how him and I got along, stuff like that. So that's what all this is, in case you guys are wondering. Thank you, Hannah. Speed, my father passed a few weeks ago. And that, that's what all this is. I'm just talking about him. This is for my YouTube channel, but we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch right now. So that's what's going on. No, it's fine. I appreciate it. He's not suffering anymore. He had some pretty brutal medical problems. So. Hey, Pro. Good to see you, Pro, dude. This shit wasn't planned, by the way. I didn't mean to get this emotional. I was just going to reflect a little bit, as I usually do with the vlogs, talking about Dad, referencing fathers, but the deeper I dig, mentally and emotionally, stuff's just coming out. It's part of the grieving process. It's part of the mourning process. Hey, Shawshank. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm here for y'all as well. Are there any stories y'all want to share, or anything y'all have gone through? Feel free. That's what these live vlogs are for. I know that I try to read them. I used to have chat on the window, but I haven't been able to add it yet. I totally forgot. Thank you, Zion. I appreciate that, man. It's getting there. Grieving and mourning isn't easy. I've actually, it's getting there. I'm actually getting a little hoarse, I think. But I appreciate y'all listening and sharing, especially so far, Indian. I really do appreciate your insight, brother. It means a lot. You guys don't know how much my YouTube, or my community overall, Twitch, YouTube, now going on Facebook, has helped. You guys don't realize how much you've helped. The outreach, the DMs, the text, the videos. I'm telling you, man, nobody, not a single streamer that could have a community like ours. I mean, I'm sure Indians is up there. Just saying, because Indian is a streamer, so. Wow, I can barely talk. Okay, there's that. I got choked up. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing good. I appreciate y'all hopping in and saying hi and doing all that. Story from my side as well. I used to have these small disagreements with my father when I was 10 to 15 years of age. As I grew up, starting to understand what he went through just to provide bread. Yeah, I mean, that's the tough part about it, isn't it? When we're younger, we don't realize what our parents are going through. We don't realize the struggles and the jobs they got to hold down, the bullshit they got to deal with. It's nuts, man. But I'm realizing it's always the fathers who always have to face the tough parts of life. You're not wrong. In a lot of cultures, it's the truth. It's the truth, and it's general, well, as a broad acceptance in society too. I agree. But there's a lot of moms that do the same. You know, I would just point that out. You know, like I said, my folks separated when I was 5, and Dad was in and out of my life for a good part of my teenage years. It wasn't until his later years that, you know, we started kind of recouping a bit, but it was always at a distance. That is one thing that I kind of regret, but not totally, because Dad for a long time was a source of anxiety for me, with everything I went through as a kid. And yeah, I talked about that. He knew it. We chatted. We let stuff out. We acknowledged everything. I mean, everything that happened in my childhood. And you know, that's really where the man shined. He was very understanding in that manner, very open. I know to some he was just this rigid Christian, but there were sides of him that, you know, was just so fluid, and, you know, compassionate, you know, as any father should be. But it's weird being a preacher's son. It's the weirdest thing being a preacher's son, because growing up, it felt like I was expected to follow in his shoes, to get up in front of people and, you know, preach from a book and do all this. And it was a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you know, especially when you come from a long line of preachers, pastors, and all this. So when I talked to him one day and I said, Dad, I'm not really religious. I don't full-heartedly believe in a God. I'm not mentally set up like that. I look more at the universe and the scientific basis for it. You know, and like I said, he understood. It took him a bit. It took him a bit because he wanted to understand it, you know, but he did. Okay, what did I miss? You guys had a lot going on here. I'm sorry. Okay. Livy Ray, my auntie who raised me, someone who is more of a mother than my own, passed away on January 12th. My condolences, Livy. She was taken to a hospital a month before because of COVID. She was getting better, and on the day she passed, she FaceTimed me a few hours before telling me how much she loved me. I was determined she was going to be discharged on that Friday. My dad got a phone call from the hospital, so my dad rushed to the hospital. There was half an hour of absolute silence. No phone calls, no nothing. Me and my sisters didn't know what was happening. My dad then called me telling she's gone. I was like the world turned upside down in a matter of days. She was buried. In my culture, you're supposed to bury the dead as soon as possible. Hearing you go through the same thing, I feel better. Levy, I appreciate that. It's, you know, I still find myself in denial. And it's not just a river in Egypt. Denial. Dad humor. It's one thing I got from him. The jokes that guy would tell you. His laugh. My dad's laugh. God, boisterous. And dad could be, he was pretty obnoxious. You know, I loved him, but he was pretty obnoxious. And he that's one thing I get from him. If you guys are fans of my stream at all, if you watch any of the content, you'll learn how obnoxious I can be. And kind of egotistical, but not so much, you know, that it's like, ew, you know. I poke fun at myself too, so he did as well. And he was a humble guy, you know, humble humor too. That's one of the gifts I get from him. You should talk to people who are going through the same thing. Denial is natural. I keep thinking it's a dream, a hoax. It's the weirdest thing. I've mentioned the wake I was at where I spoke about him, and it was so surreal to see him in a container in the coffin, and the job they had done, it looked like he was just sleeping, you know, and that's a sign of a good good job on prepping a body. That's just, to be blunt. And it looked like he was just gonna wake up at any point, you know, make some sort of joke, or that was just his nature, you know. Guy had a wild sense of humor. Hey, Mater. Hope you're doing well lately. God has been with you. I appreciate that, Mater. I'm hanging in there. I'm mourning and grieving with you guys a bit. Like I said, I didn't expect to get this emotional, but here we are. And you look just like Dad, Kenneth Jr. Thank you, sis. You're not wrong. Although I am much better looking. Much better looking. She'll walk to the front door and tell me the hospital got it all wrong. That day won't ever come. And that's a part of the truth we gotta face. Is that they're not coming back. No matter what you may believe, they're waiting. They're waiting to reconnect at some point, Lebby. Man. Oh, heavy shit, huh? Your nature is caring and self-reflecting. I've seen you in your vlogs talking about whatever is happening in your life. You always show your true self. Is the reason I'm always down for your vlog videos. Thank you, Indian. Again, I didn't see my auntie's body because she died of COVID. That's brutal. Look, medically, a part of being able to cope and accept the reality is being able to see evidence. That's how we're built mentally. If we can, it helps. Some people can't do that. They don't want to see it. They can't. And I get that, but closure is important. And for me, seeing and speaking at my father's wake and seeing my siblings mourn with me and my family mourn with me was brutal closure. I hope you can get that, Levy. I really do. I hope it comes with time. And thank you, Mater. I appreciate that, man. And Zion, I know. Thank you, dude. And I'm making my sister cry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Hannah. This is just a part of something I've been doing for over 12 years with YouTube. Is sharing with you guys. You know, let you know whatever you may be going through, you're not alone. You know, there's another human being going through something similar or experiencing something similar, fighting, struggling, dancing, crawling, whatever it may be. I made it part of my mission to share as much life as I can without, being too detailed. But I love doing this stuff with you guys. I love sharing it. Because look, let's face fact, there's going to be a point when I'm not around anymore. What'll be left of me? This channel. The digital reflection of myself encoded in video sent straight to y'all and to YouTube servers, Twitch servers, and Facebook servers, and Twitter. A digital ghost, as it were. Ooh. It's a part of the legacy I want to leave behind. For my dad, that legacy was his children and his message. And man, did he have a lot of legacy in his children. But no matter the fights we had, his children loved him. His children loved him. Oh. You might remember me as Ozzy123. Vaguely? The name sounds really familiar. I'll give you that. And I apologize, my brain's not exactly firing in all cylinders right now. It's kind of clogged up, as it were. But with that said, I appreciate the time you put into watching. Means a lot. Hey, King. How you doing, man? Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. I know I'm using a rag for a napkin. But look, when you're a big guy and you got a lot of snot, tissues don't cut it, man. Tissues do not cut it. Oh, man. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Young. Appreciate that. Assalamu alaikum. A little bit of trivia. I learned about Assalamu alaikum from a movie. Movies and video games have always been a big part of my life. A big window for a bit of a sheltered kid. And I learned a lot about different cultures, and even though they may have been exaggerated in movies and video games, but Assalamu alaikum. I thought that was really awesome when I read about it. I remember hearing about it from the movie Pitch Black, because there was a religious character that went around saying it. It was really cool. So just a little fact. I feel when I lost my mom 20 years ago. Oh, dude, that's heavy. Getting there. I'm letting it out. Yeah, I'm sharing it slowly but surely. Honestly, I'm probably still going to cry for another few weeks. I mean, this isn't like the last of it at all. I'm not going to put myself in that kind of denial. But it's part of it, man. I mean, it's part of being human. It's part of the human experience. We go through these emotions. We go through these trials and tribulations, and or these releases, as it were. I don't think, in a lot of ways, that death is final. Again, no matter what you believe, death is not final. A lot going on mentally. A lot of wheels turning. But yeah. Possible kindly come to Discord. Well, there's something I would love to share through your stream too. Yeah. All right. Hold on, Annie. I'll go ahead and hop into Discord real quick. Hold on a minute. once you're over it, I think you should grind more. Overall, do better or start something. Yeah, I am. Um, grinding on a lot of levels, to be honest. Overwatch, Warcraft, school. Currently getting back to my courses, although um, real life is hitting kind of hard. So dealing with that before I move on to anything else. Um, yeah, y'all feel free if you want to. The Discord's linked down below. I'll go ahead and get out and then I'll get in the Awesome Com hangout for a bit if you guys want to pop in. Just watch any background noise because I've got the levels kind of where they are. But yeah, it's a community Discord. You guys feel free to pop in. Hopefully my connection works all right.
Hey man.
Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah. Well, it's always comforting for me whenever I've watched you, like during your hard times, and you were never fake, man. All I can say, like, the least I can say, you're always caring. Whatever you share is like um, very transparent.
I appreciate that.
And it was like, it's just a small story, although it's a very sad one, but yet it's something I think that will help you through. Like, I got married in 2016, okay, and it was a very new relation with my wife, and my wife's aunt, you can say, her father's sister's daughter, two daughters were there. One was 13-year-old, other was 8-year-old, and since they were born, they had this. How should I explain this? I have a very Hindi forte. English is really not my strong suit, but they had these knots in their lungs since birth. They had these, and we knew what things are gonna be in the future, but nobody predicts it, like when it's gonna happen. And in December 2019, they got admitted here in my city, like where they live. Those girls and parents, that was a very small city, so they came to my city, and I was the one who was responsible to, like, give them food, shelter during the time they're here in my city.
Mm.
And I was so close to those two girls because when I got married, they were the ones who were actually sitting beside my bride. So I had
Oh wow.
maximum interaction through them,
Right.
and they were very cute actually. And the 13-year-old one was not even serious. Like, she was not in a very medical condition, while the 8-year-old one, because of which we all got connected in my city, was very serious. She was in ICU, and we were all afraid for her. Like, she was only 8 years old, unable to breathe through a ventilator and stuff. We were like having mentally the hardest time of our lives. And I don't know about my wife or anybody else, but I'm a huge kid guy. Like, I love kids.
Yeah.
And seeing her suffer was the hardest thing I was able to do. And at that time, I was very, very distressed about the fact that why this soul, this 8-year old, has to suffer through all of these things, which usually people suffer when they're like in their 80s or 90s, or like when we all get that to that stage. And she was only 8 years old. She was very lively. The time when she was in the ICU, she still cared about the drawings and palettes, like she wanted to draw. And even the nurses, the doctors got connected to her so much that we were all like, having that moment is something that I can cherish throughout my life. And
Wow.
what happened in December 29th, her elder sister, the 13-year-old one, she was not with us. She was at her home. Her mother receives a call where she complains, the 13-year-old, that you don't love me, because like she was with the small one, the 8-year-old one, at the hospital with me. So the 13-year-old one said that, Mom, you don't love me because you're always with her, not with me, while I also suffer the same problem. And on the same night, she died. And that was the hardest thing. That was unexpected. She was normal, not though fully well, but she was not suffering from the condition her younger sister was suffering. And for us, it came like a shock. Like, I was not able to tell my wife for the whole night that she's not here anymore with us. And her mom was crying, we have to console her. And that was the brutal part, was we were not expecting it. Like, the
Yeah.
person who's in ICU, the 8-year-old, we were having already hard time to process through that. But the 13-year-old, the wise one, the elder one, and also the strong one, just passed away. And the last thing her mother heard was this only, that you don't love me.
Mm.
And the hard part came on January 2nd. This event I was talking about was December 29th, and on January 2nd we lost the 8-year-old as well.
Oh
And
man.
for the mother, I was like, I was not able to face her. Although I had a very new relation, because she was actually the aunt of my wife, and I was not very close to her. I was just like, that's how things are in marriage. But seeing her grief, seeing her cry, there was not even a single word I could have said that could have comforted the mother who lost two child consecutively, like in December and in January. Like, usually there is a saying that, well, it's a year, it's a past year, okay, it's okay, it's gone, new year will come with new things, new happiness. We had zero words to say. There was nothing that can comfort her, because on December 29th she lost her 13-year-old, and on January 2nd she lost her 8-year-old. Just, it was like blow after blow.
Yeah. That's
And yeah, and
that.
then sometimes when I see people grieve, I see, why does this happen? Sometimes I blame myself. It is my fate or something. Like, the people I love the most or care about the most have suffered some of the brutal losses, and I'm just there to just be there. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, you, apart from you, there is another guy. His name is also Shashank. His channel is Batshank,
Mhm.
and he also lost his father a few years back. Although me and he connected this year only, I didn't knew him before this year, 2020. But he also lost his father a few years back. Then I have a very close friend of mine who lives, I think, 5 blocks away from my house. He also lost his father at a very young age, like when he was, I think, 12 or 13. And
Mm.
seeing all these things happening around my life, I really, that has made something like, how a stubborn child did. I don't know how much stubborn you were, but like, me and my father always used to, like, log heads in a for about very small things. Like, we always used to have disagreements when I was in my 16 to 17 years of age. And looking back, reflecting it now, and seeing what we used to fight for, I'm like, what the hell were you doing, dude? I
Yeah.
could literally go back into time and smack myself in the head twice or thrice. Like, what the hell were you doing, man? You
Yeah.
shouldn't be talking like to your father like that. And watching you now, this is a learning experience, and what you are doing is something that not everyone can do. When they died, the girls I'm talking about, I was unable to stream for 2-3 weeks, and I was unable to just straight up face the camera. Like, for me it was very hard. And those were not like very closely related, but they shared a bond. And with you, I can only say, man, you're very strong. Like, I don't know what you think about yourself, but you're extra strong. And you were talking about the fact that there are some very characteristic traits that you have, like, from passed on from your father to you. I'm telling you, everything, including the ego, everything is a blessing, man.
I
You
pre-
should be very, very thankful for that.
Thank you, man. I am, and you're right. It's when you're encountering with your father at a young age, and stupid things are said, you get into these trifles and arguments over, the stupidest thing, and being a stubborn kid. I've reflected on a few of those over the past couple weeks since his passing, and you're right. I mean, it's just like you go through these moments of why. I mean, what was it? What it was so small. Um, but I
Exactly.
but I think to deny those though is to deny a part of the experience you had with him, because
Yeah.
he, in those moments, there were some lessons learned, even if he didn't teach it himself. The encounter did, and to reflect back on those and look back at that is to acknowledge that even when he wasn't trying, your father was still helping you learn and, you know, be better and stronger in life. But that your story on the two girls and their mother, that that is brutal. I mean, that is really, really brutal. And facing something like that, especially as the mother, I can't even begin to imagine losing your children. It's the way society or the way life is supposed to work is you bury your parents, not your
Yeah,
parents bury you.
exactly.
And
And that too in a very young age.
yeah, and to go against that natural order, even if from natural causes or human, whatever it may be, is I can only be grateful that my father didn't bury me because it would have killed him, you know.
Yeah,
So that's
definitely.
that's brutal, man. And my condolences to the mom and my condolences to you as well. Um, it's it's just these things we go through life, and it's people like us, especially as streamers, that the best we can do is just be strong for our community, be there when we can, still be human, take our time with what we need to do. But I've seen some of your content as well, man, and you do a really good job. You spread a positive message, and the fact that you still have the strength to keep going after everything you've seen and been through is testament enough to how strong you are as well.
I guess it runs in a family. Like I consider you my family because as I told you in the comments as well that I hardly had the time to watch your streams like for hours and hours because it's because of the odd hours.
Yeah,
It's a very simple thing, like you're streaming at when it's 4 a.m. in my city, and I'm like
right.
sleeping in my country,
Yeah,
and while I wake up you're about to end your streams.
yeah,
And when I am in my full swing, like when it's my time, like it's evening or here it's night here, then
yeah,
it's very early morning for you. So we never connected through streams, but whenever you used to post those videos, those small eye to an eye contact with the cam, and when you're talking, it is something that has made me a different person. Like you have also changed me a lot, like in many ways. I could explain. If I could, then it could take at least 2 3 streams. Like I've seen your videos, I've seen whatever messages you try to convey in your videos. Those are different, man.
I,
I think that is also something that you got from your father, as you said, caring nature. Like whenever you say some things like that has happened in your life or whatever is you experiences that you've gone through, it really makes us learn and understand how unpredictable or predictable you can make life. Like
mhm.
how can you withstand all those storms, or how can you cherish those small things?
Yeah, and part of the reason I do it. Oh, by the way, hey Allegra, shout out to Allegra. She's in chat. A longtime friend of mine. Very, very, very awesome lady. She has two girls, and she would die if anything ever happened to them, and they died. It would kill me. Sh- I, yeah, like I said, I can't imagine. And for what it's worth, Allegra, badass. You're a total badass. You've been through a lot in your life, and for what it's worth, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all of you. Proud of every single one of you because you're still here. You're fighting. You're surviving. You're keeping going. And look, I don't have kids. I don't know if I ever will, but y'all are my family, just like he just said, and I agree with you, man. Your family as well, and a very extended family, but family. Um, and I appreciate every one of you. I really do.
Thanks, man. And it's not my part to say, but shout out to you, Electra.
Yeah, she's a badass chick, man. Oh, hey, Deb. Speaking of badass chicks, you guys excuse the language. I hope you're not offended by coarse language, but my my channel's rated mature, so that's why I put a mature rating. But all right. Well, dude, thank you for the chat and thank you for the inspiring words and the story. Um, it's really a good insight into how death can impact people. And
Yeah, and
it's
it's the
crazy.
least I could do, man. Like, also, I would like to say one thing, that I will definitely leave a message on your personal Discord
Mm,
for him. You should. You should is a very strong word, actually, but well, I would love to see you and Bad Shank OG get connected through Discord and talk things out, because I believe in some way or the other you two are like quite similar. Like, it's not the age, but it's definitely the experiences that you have gone through, and that will really help. I can only understand the pain of the loss,
right.
but fortunately, I should say, that my father is still alive. I cannot understand the depth of the grief that you're facing right now, even as you talk with me, while he can. So
I
that is something that I would love to see someday. You two guys connect, and definitely you can take all the time you want. There's no rush. There is nobody is leaving you, man.
no, no, no.
At
I
least
got you.
from my part, or even from his part.
I
And
think he
I'll
was
make
in.
sure you guys tag throughout.
I think he was in chat earlier, wasn't he?
No,
Shashank.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. Okay.
Oh, that was me, actually.
That was
That
you on
Facebook ID.
Twitch.
That was my Facebook ID.
Oh,
Yeah.
Facebook. Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Facebook ID. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. That was me.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just send me a link in Discord. I'll check out his channel.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'll do that. And it was always nice connecting with you. We never had the time, I should say, or the fate to get
It.
connected like this on
Yeah.
Discord. But, well, strange things, strange time calls for strange backup, I should
Very,
say.
very true. Very true. And again, thank you, man.
Stay strong, man. Stay strong, and try to be here for us, while we'll always try to be there for you, man. Thank you
Definitely.
so much for letting me speak some things, and thank you for getting connected on Discord with me.
No
Thank you.
problem. No problem at all, dude. Thank you.
Take care, sir.
Definitely. You too, man. All right. Well, yeah, that was Indian. Game of that Indian. He's a longtime viewer of the channel and the community. Much as you, a lot of you are. This has been very cathartic. I'll be honest. It's been very cathartic sharing all this with y'all, and reflecting and sharing, and getting all of your input, all of your stories, all of your love, all of your hope, and condolences. And like I said, I didn't mean to get this emotional. I was just going to reflect on my father, talk about him a little bit as a man. But when you're, it's funny, growing up as a guy. Luckily, my father was never really like this a whole lot. He had his moments, but you get a lot of machoism from a lot of fathers. You got to be strong. Don't cry. You got to be able to shoulder a storm. It's almost a sin to show emotion. I went the total opposite way. I'm a very heartfelt, emotional dude. And my father was as well. But there were times in my life when I was told, not by him per se, but by other people, that showing emotion is a weakness. Showing emotion takes away from your man card, as it were. And listen, to any guys out there, any boys, any sons, even to girls, ladies, showing emotion is not a weakness. Showing your heart is a strength. Being able to look somebody in the eye and say, I see you. I see you. And share that with them is what keeps humanity going. To be strong means to close off, but to be strong means to also be strong. Don't let your emotions bottle up. Don't let them fester. Let them out if you have to. Hug somebody. Kiss somebody. Make love to somebody if you're with somebody. Don't be afraid of it. Do not be afraid of what you are, which is human. Accept it, embrace it, learn from it, build it, experience it, level up, Don't let people around you tell you that you're nothing, because you're not nothing. You're a human being, you're living, you're experiencing, and there's going to come a day to where we all pay the ultimate toll in life, which is to pass and become part of the earth again. to see and visit our ancestors at some point, and to see where we were, or where we've been, and at some point feel where we're going. Don't deny yourself that. Just know that you're human. You're not immortal. Unlike me, I'm totally immortal. You feel that a lot when you're young. You know, you think life's never going to end. I am everything. I can do anything I want. Now, it's fun for a time, but eventually you got to step up your game a bit and realize that you're human. You know, you're going to fall apart. You're going to lose people. And that's one of the truest facts about life. There comes a point in life to where life starts taking things away. You're given everything as a kid. At least I hope you have. There's a lot of kids that don't. But there comes a point where the universe starts taking things away. People, especially. The universe took my father 2 weeks ago. He's now a part of the earth again. And while it is bittersweet, I think he leaves a fantastic legacy on this planet, and his kids, and me, you know, because I'm amplifying what I'm feeling, and that's my legacy. I've talked about it on the channel before, but that's my legacy. Like I said, I never had kids. I don't know if I ever will, but you guys and gals, and you know, whatever you identify as, you're part of that, whether you like it or not. Just thought I'd tell you that. Dabs, I love you. You're my best friend. Dabs, you are too. And I got to give you a big shout out too, because I know you've been through a bunch of bullshit in your life, but you're awesome. Your dad would be so proud of you reaching out to different people. Love you and loved. Thank you, Libby. I appreciate that. I'm going 90 on the freeway. I cry and share my feelings with my kids. They know what I'm feeling when I'm sad. I'm glad, Allegra. I really am. See, that's what makes you a great mother. You were always compassionate. In the time I met you, you were always compassionate. You were always a very caring person. Glad to see that hasn't changed. Can I get a heart spammed in this chat right now, everyone? Listen, even if you guys don't spam hearts, I feel you. And thank you for listening to my heart today and for being a part of it. I kind of need some time to deflate a bit, so I think I'm going to go ahead and end this here, but thank you guys for everything. I hope you enjoyed the music a little bit. Added a little bit of thematic effect, but I didn't just want to be talking and with no background. So you guys provided a hell of a stage for me to grieve on and to share your stories, especially a big shout out to Gamified for his share, for Allegra for popping in, for my sister Hannah for popping in. I love y'all. Dabs, love you. Levy, new to the community, love you. Who else did we have? Pro Dude was here. King J, love you guys. I know I'm missing somebody. Zion, a mater. I'm just going through chat. Bear with me. If you guys want to bail, I totally get it. We're about to cut this short, but Speed over on YouTube. I gotta give a big shout out to Pro Dude too. Pro Dude, man, if you're still watching, just thanks for popping in from time to time and sharing your life story with us. You've never been afraid to do that, and it's awesome. Share what you're going through with your day. And I'm really glad you got into Final Fantasy VII. Really glad. Alright, I think that's it, y'all. If I missed somebody, I apologize. But for now, I'm going to say salut. And again, thank y'all for everything. Oh, don't mind Nightbot. Nightbot's he's a killjoy. Levy. That's a lot of hearts. Thank y'all. I got to join in on this. Hold on. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. There we go. There. Sending that all to y'all. That's all to y'all. All right. Well, listen, y'all. Stay safe. Stay sane. Remember, you're awesome. Never let the world say otherwise. There might be a stream later tonight. Maybe some Overwatch. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to take a couple hours to myself. I'm off tomorrow, thankfully. So we'll see what happens. All right. See ya.